The band is back together. Cruise season is over, and spring ball is 1 week away. Welcome to the live show at Roosters. It is a fun, casual joint. It is also fueled by Tansky Powersports. That is Justin Zwick, Nicole Cox, Bobby Carpenter. I am Austin Ward. You three look just tan.
Oh, thanks.
Relaxed.
I am starting to peel a little bit.
Rested.
Oh,
Yeah.
good for you.
Oh, yeah.
How was it, Nicole?
It was fantastic. It was the best cruise yet.
Record setting.
Yep. 4.625 million.
Oh,
Isn't that incredible?
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
The auction was amazing. There was a lot of generosity.
It was like 1.3
It was
just the night of
it was
the auction.
like a record
Yeah.
setting auction.
That's a lot, Justin.
Yeah.
Did anybody else win anything, or just you?
I won a trip to the zoo with the seals, which I was a part of. So,
Nice.
Which is so nice of you
No, it's
guys
great.
to like donate packages like that. That's
It's-
how they raise the money. So people are
Someone
donating
bought
their
mine
time.
offline, which was great. So
yeah,
I
that's
didn't
nice. You have to go.
there.
I was
Oh,
hoping
yeah.
someone was going to get mine beforehand.
Crisco say some guy called in and offered us. He told me the guy's $20,000 for your house for the weekend. I said, "That's awesome,
Yeah.
Don't even have to go
Check.
up on
So-
stage.
great. I'm in Buckeyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to make that stay as well. So that's very exciting for me.
It'll be good."
Yeah, it just looked awesome.
It
Bunch of
was.
current Buckeyes as well. Jay-Z, I know you wanted to talk a little shop with Julian Say, and how did that go?
It was good. He's a quiet kid.
He opened up a little
But
bit.
nice. I mean, I sat with him at the autograph signing.
Oh, that's nice.
Because they
Quarterbacks
had,
only.
Yeah, they had quarterbacks at this table, and then he and I were a jockey for the horse race together, which we got
I know.
smoked. We got
He really
absolutely
did. I felt so bad.
smoked.
Justin was so excited to be a part
It
of
was
that.
my first
and then
time being a jockey.
He's like, you could see the excitement.
and
And,
Bobby went before us, and he had 4, and he got all the way to the last line, and then
then
another
4 just
4
stopped.
stopped. So Julian and I, we were in the back. All right, we need 1 or 6, because those were the numbers that were hitting. So I was like, all right. Well, I went up to Kyle and I said, hey, Kyle, we want number 6. He goes, all right, go ahead. And I was like, Julian, I got us number 6. Let's go.
Oh.
He's like, yeah. And then Kyle was like, did you draw for that? And I was like, no, I did not. Drew got
Oh,
number
no.
4, and the bad luck on 4, Bobby being at the finish line and not getting 1.
For 10 straight rolls.
Julian and I, we brought up the rear. I mean, they were trying to roll 4s for us. And I could see Tom. The 4 was up, and he's like spinning it sideways, hoping. And we
felt
maybe
bad.
got 2.
They were just hanging out.
We
back
got like
there.
2 lines off the start. So Julian and I did not do so well. I did ask Coach Day because Bobby had Peyton riding, the jockey when they were on.
Well, I always rode Schlegs.
Yeah,
I'm like,
fair.
can I ride you? And he's like,
Well, I
"Why
said,
don't I go?"
we were watching from the back, and I said, Coach,
I'm old.
you think Julian could pick me up? He was like, he's going to need to work on his legs a little bit before that. I said, yeah. I said, I'll be the one carrying. But no, we had fun. Talked with the offensive linemen. I mean, great group of guys that came on the boat
best.
again. Just amazing the types of kids this program is recruiting and bringing in, and offensive line, they were awesome. There's 3 of them current guys.
Yeah.
So that was really cool
I
to
think
see.
more than that.
Carson, Luke, and Austin.
Carson, Luke, and Austin,
And
and
then-
then you had not Tyleek.
They had
Bennett Christian.
Christian.
Bennett Christian, yeah.
The
Peyton
Texas,
Pierce.
the Texas
Julian,
Tornado, bro.
Yeah.
Julian, and then Peyton Pierce.
Yeah.
Dude, Bennett, I sat on the plane next to him going down.
That sounds terrible.
He's amazing.
Well, I had the aisle, so I'm like, all right, I'm aisle. And I look at my seat, and it's him in the middle, and then one of the girlfriends on the other side.
Why didn't he put his girlfriend in?
Yeah.
But I mean, it wasn't his girlfriend. It was another girlfriend.
Oh.
Oh, was it Mia's? Luke's?
But I mean, I
Luke's
was like,
girlfriend plays volleyball.
this is going to be miserable. I mean, he's a huge
He
human.
is huge. Yeah.
And I was like, I fit him, but then he ended up moving to the back because there was an open seat. So I was like, we'll see you later. But it worked out well. But great kids. I mean, I think their packages that the guys sold, on the boat, their horse went for the offensive line horse
it
went for like
was insane.
$50,000.
Really?
It went
Yeah.
for the most ever.
Yeah, they got it
Wow.
pumped up. So they did some really nice
Who ended
things.
up winning the race?
Shazier.
Oh,
And you know what he won on?
4.
A 4.
He was 4 in the championship, and he won.
It didn't get a roll from like my last
Yeah, I
one
did
until
through like ours, and then
Oh.
and then he won it all. But another great cruise. The young guys were great. They were awesome. Everything they did, I thought they did a really nice job, really understanding what this was about. And you see 4.6 go up at the end of the cruise. That's it's a heck of a year for bringing in money to try and cure cancer.
What else was great is that we then got to see some of the second-year NFL guys, second-year cruisers, Ty Hamilton, Ty Leak, Cody Simon, and Donovan Jackson, who had all come on as players. And then obviously you have your rookie year where you're going through combine, training, everything else. Then those guys come back, and they were awesome. And they had brought their girlfriends, had a good time. it's just fun, like talking to them about their rookie year, what all that was like, and listening to them talk about maybe how much or possibly little their organization actually seems to care about the winning aspect of
Surely
the game.
you're not talking about Cody Simon's experience.
It's tough when you're there and you realize, like, wait, you guys do all this? I just thought that every place wasn't like Ohio State. Well, I go, some of the NFL places are. They try to win.
Yeah.
So they want to get you like good trainers and good food and make sure that everything's good and not do things as most economically efficiently as possible.
But
Buckeyes.
doesn't work. Also, some of them might have taken a pay cut in the NFL in year one. So that's an adjustment.
That is kind of crazy to think about.
It's a new world. It's a great world.
You go to California, and Ty was lamenting the cost of living there and not quite Pickerington and how much some of the tax things that were going on and everything else.
Yeah, I don't know if that's exactly Ty's speed, but oh well. Ryan Day was on the boat. Nicole, did you learn something about the Buckeyes?
Yes, I did. He, I think I wrote those notes and they're still in my suitcase.
Oh, okay.
You haven't unpacked
You
it?
didn't
Nicole,
immediately
come
unpack?
on,
That
yeah.
doesn't sound like the
No.
Nicole Cox that I know.
Really?
Oh,
I
Bobby.
thought you were like an instant unpacker.
Bobby,
No,
I've sent you photos
That's
before.
right,
We're
true.
complete opposite.
that's true.
And
You're like
we're
my
going
wife.
on spring break in
She's the same
couple
bag.
weeks.
Just pull that same
I was
bad
like,
boy out
oh,
of
I'm
there.
just gonna leave half of this in here because
No.
I'm gonna take it. Not clothes. I did all the laundry.
Wait,
but,
so
like,
Then what
you
else
pack
is in there?
like 2 weeks in advance,
Oh,
but then
all
you
the
just
things.
you leave.
all the things.
all the things.
All the things.
Yeah, I do need to get my folder out of there, my work folder of the Buckeye Cruise stuff. But Ryan Day, gosh, I'm trying to think what was so interesting from there.
One of the things I think that is you being a mother in this, and all of us being parents, but you having older kids like around our age, and even one that's a little older, is Ryan was like, "This is the last year we'll be doing this
Yep.
as a family." He's like, "RJ will be off. I think Grace is his second daughter. I want to say.
Yep.
I believe that's accurate because she's my daughter's age. So she was a freshman. She played JV basketball. He's like, next year she'll probably be playing
Busy.
varsity.
Yeah.
She played varsity this year.
She got called up.
Because she
and that's
got called
why,
up. That's why they
Yeah.
came late.
And that's why they came late. But he's like, this is probably it. She'll be doing that, so she won't be able to come. And like, wow, like it's a stark like reminder of like time. I mean, how long that they've been here, and just how much of this has been a part of their family, and how much they've really kind of enjoyed it as like a family vacation, akin to kind of we go on there and you get to see and talk to people that you don't.
It's a big reunion every year for
even
us.
though
in a
you
way.
live in Columbus, you don't get to see some of these people on a regular basis, and so that's so much fun to be able to do that.
It was amazing. Like Coach Day, he spoke so highly of he's one of those people, he's like, we wouldn't be successful. And he would list like a bunch of his coaches and the reasons why. And then the players, he would bring up all their strengths. And I have to say, I was so impressed with Mark Pantoni. I know him. I've known him for years. And
Was he able to put his phone down, or
I threw it in the ocean.
It's just, yeah.
Give me that.
The amount of
portal's
what
closed.
he
It
does
was
actually
is
kind of-
unreal.
Yeah.
Like what he does is unreal. Just the negotiating and the it's like a big puzzle that you're trying to piece everything together. And I was just very, very impressed. And it was a really neat talk with all of them.
Yeah, and for him learning on the fly because it wasn't always like that.
No.
When he was coming
New
up,
position.
new position, new world of college football. So for him to be able to navigate and kind of keep their core values at the center of things, but realize we're gonna pay these guys and figure all that out. He's done a wonderful job. It's really cool to see Dom kind of put them through a little fireside chat, which I'm sure there's no video of, which is good. But
That's
not necessarily good,
I
but
mean, I don't want to wait one more week for a Ryan Day press conference.
you would love to have some of that going on.
I
right
was
now.
I was living on the stuff that Dom and Bob were sending into the station through the trip on the cruise.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was
Needed some insight.
And the guys, I do want to reiterate what Justin was saying about the athletes, the current athletes that we're on. And this speaks to Ryan Day. They recruit, or at least they raise just great men. They just are such a great representation of Ohio State as a program, of the Buckeye Cruise. Just to be that young and to be just so engaged at the Buckeye Cruise, and they made the best of everything. They were wonderful on our day at sea, which was awesome. Bennett Christian, he is hysterical. They were just saying like what they would DoorDash, and he was just like, I DoorDash, and he listed his full Roosters menu, and then I was like, we're not on DoorDash, but I love you for giving us the shout out.
He played the guitar a few times.
Yeah.
I mean, he was ready to jump up in there and get into it.
Yeah.
And,
He's a great person.
Multiple times he was up
Fantastic.
playing the guitar with North of Nashville, and really just showing his personality, which was really neat to see.
Glad he got to take part in that adventure at sea.
Oh, but
And-
more adventures, baby.
More adventures.
If you need, I don't know, a snowmobile, does
Let's
Tansky
go.
I don't think they have snowmobiles.
Okay.
They can
but I'll
order
talk
you
to
one
Mark
probably.
about it.
Yeah, they can
Because
probably get
I
you
don't
one.
know what is happening with the weather, but if you're looking for your next adventure and it doesn't include snow, head to Tansky Powersports, your one-stop shop for ATVs, dirt bikes, golf carts, and more. Whether you're looking for speed, power, or versatility, Tansky Powersports has something for everyone with the best brands and expert service. Visit Tansky Powersports today at 2491 West Dublin Granville Road, or browse their huge selection online at TanskyPowersports.com. Tansky Powersports, where the adventure begins. Was there anything else that you picked up from Ryan Day on that boat, Bob? I know that sort of right before you guys left, we were talking about expecting Matt Patricia to return.
Yeah,
And
they kind of touched on that. I guess Ross had kind of leaked that out because as I was coming back.
Well, nobody believed me, you, or Birm when we said it was done, so we had to wait for
someone
Ross.
was like, do they have a contract? Has he been presented a contract? I'm like, that's not really how it works. They talk about it. It's like he looks at it and says, we're good. They talk about everything, and then it's just kind of there and you sign it. This isn't like where they're giving it back.
They're not like at a table going back and
Yeah,
forth.
this
Like,
is-
oh, hold on, I'm going to cross this
Does
out.
this look okay to you?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, they verbally talk, they have conversations about it. This isn't like you're, going and buying like a house or something like that. So it's a much different negotiation because you're trying to get it done. Like both sides in earnest, like, okay, well, this is where our limitations are. This is where yours are. And so Ryan talked about how, he's going to be back, for the foreseeable future and have him locked in here. I guess Ross had kind of alluded to that at some other event.
Yeah.
So then I return, and I don't know if it was like that day or the day after, whenever Matt then had to then put out his own social media.
It was like, I guess I better put out an Instagram post.
I'm here and I'm ready to be
Yeah.
back,
Yeah.
and I'm excited because everybody else now knows that I'm excited. There still has not been an official press release
There has not been.
anything, but Matt Patricia, I think, is safe to say he'll be back, for this year and maybe some of the coming years.
And they've done that for all the new coaches, right? They haven't really put out too much on anybody.
They haven't put out too much. They immediately confirmed Cortez Hankton on New Year's Day because they had to get that in place. You needed him to be able to coach
Brian
wide
was
receivers.
leaving.
They waited, I think, maybe a week until after we all knew that Arthur Smith was going to be the next offensive coordinator before they confirmed that in a release, but they have not put out his contract details. They have not put out anything at all on Robbie Disher, who we expect to be the special teams coordinator.
Well, he's
or
here.
Is the special teams.
Yeah, he is a special
He's
I mean,
walking around in the
Yeah,
facility.
He's
I
gotta-
shouldn't say expect. Who
he can
we
get in
have
the building. So.
reported as the special teams coordinator, and they haven't put out any sort of release on Matt Patricia either. But also, that could be because there's It could be because the contract is not finalized, which was the week delay for Arthur Smith, or it also could be Jerry Emig retired on Saturday, and
Oh,
you know,
it
was
was
it
his
Saturday?
last
that was the
day.
last day, and you've got a new sports information director in charge.
Who makes
of
the
football.
announcements of the SID?
So they had
Nice.
they had another SID.
It
Gary Pettit handled that.
It never gets put out.
Because Gary is getting more responsibility as the head of the department, taking that role that Jerry Emig had before. He won't be working with football, but Will Panages from Wake Forest. Have not had a chance to meet him yet, Bob. But
They're pretty excited about it.
yeah, I know that the little bit of restructuring there. Chris Park as well involved. So excited to see what that's going to look like because in 8 days we're going to need press conferences and we're going to need some practice
It's
available.
wild that it's already here, 8 days away.
Yeah, I'm excited. What are you hoping to? Are you going to be on Student Appreciation Day in a month, Nicole? You got that on the calendar?
Yeah, is that the practice? That's the practice we go watch,
Yeah.
isn't it?
And that's where your Roosters
You know, I'll
is,
be
right?
there. It's my one practice day, I
Yeah.
get to go to a
Day
year.
is that?
I love it.
April 4th.
4th.
April 4th.
Yeah. All right. So you got that
Come
on the
down.
calendar.
Oh,
You'll be
yeah.
there.
Oh, yeah.
Anything else you want to see in spring football? It's here.
Oh my gosh, I know. I definitely
Easter? Saturday before Easter?
Yes.
Of course.
Well, and also we don't have practice on the 11th, and the spring game's the 18th. It's an unusual schedule.
why
but
don't they have practice on the 11th?
Oh,
I wish I knew. It really caused some angst in the Ward household with what we were planning on the 18th, but that's not anyone's
Oh
business.
yeah, I know.
I don't know why they're not doing it,
Okay.
but yeah. Spring ball is going to be here next week.
Yeah. I
So
can't
they
wait.
came back from the cruise last Tuesday. Did they have mat drills? Because they were like, "Oh, we got mat
Oh, yeah,
drills
they
when we
had
get
a mat
back." So
drill
they,
Wednesday.
oh,
Oh,
did
yeah.
they?
Gotta
Oh,
go right back
Good
into the
luck
fire.
with that. Yeah, let's go.
I give anyone so much credit.
I was
just
hoping
to
they
be
at
able
least
to-
got like a day off, but they probably didn't feel as bad as we
No, those guys, they're
did. Well, we're just old.
Why is that?
We
We're
can't
old.
handle it like
Yeah,
we
we're
used to.
old.
Oh, okay.
And we used to do that and go work out at 6 a.m. back in the day.
yeah. And I believe me, that workout I went in on Wednesday, and it was
Oh, I bet they got them pretty good.
those guys were good. And I asked, and there was no noticeable difference. Like
Because they
they were
like-
worried about the
yeah.
sunburns of like rolling around
Yeah.
on the mat. I'm like, oh, that's real
Oh,
life.
that's real.
Yeah.
You had a sunburn. I mean, that was
If
brutal.
that's the worst of your problems though on mat drills, that's probably okay.
I was hurting on Wednesday. My workout felt like I had like
Oh.
oil, like sludge in my
We
That
can
is-
definitely tell like we're getting older.
Yeah.
It's
Did
the
Schlegels
recovery.
deputize you to lead the workouts on the boat? How did that work?
No, those guys did their own stuff. I
Yeah.
only got a couple in. Like I used to work out every day on the boat, and the gym's not great there. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just get like maybe 2. I think I got 3 workouts in on the boat, and that was plenty for me. Every third day, third day, I'm like, I probably need to do something to elevate my heart rate, and then I would go sit in the sauna, and it was like
Steam room was nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
it was like an exorcism. It was tremendous.
Yeah.
I put so much heat in there. I was like, just cook me alive.
Yeah.
Felt good though.
I should have done
I
that.
didn't get off the boat much. So I worked out quite a bit.
You did?
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for
Look at
you.
this
I
guy.
got off the boat once.
Wow.
Where'd you get
Really?
off?
Grand Turk, wherever we did the sailboat. We did a sailboat excursion, which was awesome. It was a
Good.
It was a American Cup regatta.
Oh, really?
And I mean, I tell you this, Doug Daddish and I were the back grinders.
That's
I like
There
that.
was a
Yeah.
point in time
Grinders.
I thought the boat was going over.
Did
I
you-
was up
did
on
you
top.
sign up for that on the app?
Yeah, I was up on top. Doug had fell and had his feet against the side of the boat. I was getting ready
Really?
to like grab him. There was another lady. She was on her own. I couldn't have grabbed. I could.
I can only say
I
my
couldn't-
friend,
I
I don't
couldn't-
know you.
I couldn't have gotten to her. I wish I could have, but she was too far away. But I was ready to grab Doug. I'm watching this boat. I'm like, we're going over. What do we do here?
Did you guys
It-
have life
we didn't
jackets
go
on?
over. Not on.
You know I'd be
They were
rocking
on.
a
They
life
were,
jacket.
they were on the boat, but they
Yeah.
weren't on.
You know
But
I'd
it
be
was-
rocking it the whole time.
It was wild. And then they're like, all right, the boat comes back and they're like, your turn. So now you're like almost falling over trying to grind this thing. Like, it was incredible. I was sweating. Like, it was a workout.
I mean, it's just like
It was a lot of
it's like Top Gun Maverick.
It was the
like,
real deal sailboat. I mean, the boat we were on, I think they said won an American Cup in like 87.
That's
But
amazing.
our captain was yelling at people. It was awesome. Jennifer in the middle could not figure out the ropes that she had to do.
You know, how
Guys, I
terrible
feel like
that'd
I'm
be?
going to challenge myself to that next
Oh,
year.
it was fun. I would do it again.
The captain probably hated that. Like,
Oh,
you have
Jennifer, I've told you 6 times. If it's this, you do this. This, you do this. This, you do this. And then next time she would mess it up and be like, Jennifer. I felt so bad for Jennifer.
Well, I mean, dude, you're probably going what, like 40? or
Well, he's like,
55?
we go as fast as you allow us to go, and we're in a race with another boat, race. But it was hilarious.
that sounds awesome.
It was a lot of fun. It was, I mean, that thing was going back and forth. I mean, you get taken out if you're not paying attention.
Did you trim the sheet?
I didn't do any of that.
Scuttled the
I
jib?
sat back there and I listened to this captain because I did not want him yelling at me. So
Yeah.
anytime I heard starboard
I would
tighten,
too.
I was going at it. It was wild.
I'm definitely challenging myself to that.
But that's the
next
one
year.
I got off the boat on.
Well, it sounds
That
like
sounds
a
good.
great
Yeah, it
way to
was.
work up an appetite for some fried mushrooms, which you
Mm,
can
there
get
There you go.
for Appetizer Thursday at your local participating Roosters for
$3.
just $3.
$3.
They look fantastic, Bob.
They taste delicious too. I do not like mushrooms, but I'll eat these fried
They're
mushrooms.
very good.
Linda Zwick, check of approval.
Get a little
on
I
the
love
fried
that.
mushrooms.
I
here.
love to hear that.
go with
Oh,
the
yeah.
ranch on that.
I don't know how she eats them. Probably a little bit of ranch if I give her the ranch, because usually I hoard the ranch for my
I
wings.
like it.
We have a loyal watcher of the live show, Sully, who went for Appetizer Thursday, and he said I need to point out that it's dine-in only. He went for carry-out.
Aw.
So
good
I
dining.
don't. I have to put
Yeah.
the caveat.
I got-
That's on me. Nicole.
Guys, that's on me. I should have
Nah.
been saying that this whole time. I apologize.
I got Bill Zwick one time. He's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you told me." I was like, "Oh, I didn't think about the dine-in only part."
Mhm.
That's it.
Yeah.
What else? What else is
Yeah.
next, Nicole?
March Madness.
Okay.
Getting ready for that. And
Big
we'll-
win on Sunday.
Yep, and we're-
Hey,
I know.
Go
Congrats
Bucks.
to Coach
So
Keebler.
happy.
yes.
Oh my! I just want to when that buzzer hit. I was like, I just want to give him the
Well,
biggest
It's
hug.
just the emotional roller coaster. Because you had the nice win against Wisconsin. You felt
Mhm.
really good. And then Iowa was like,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and everybody, the vultures were just circling. But you know what our guy Jake Diebler does? He beats Purdue.
Yep.
He does be produced.
3-0.
Yep.
Some
3-0.
kind of
Pretty wild.
voodoo
I
with
mean,
the-
if I was Matt Painterbeck, son of a gun.
Yeah.
There's the third time at the end of the
You guys got to
season.
get rid of this guy.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
That's a huge win. I think that might have punched it. Now, I know they have to win 2 more games here coming up this week.
But that was the most
It's the one
improbable.
they needed on the resume.
That was the most
Well,
improbable of all the
Which
big
you know
games.
what that means.
What I think I can speak for
They
everyone
beat
on
the teams they're supposed to beat.
everyone on the live
Yeah,
show.
fair. They have this year. You're right.
That we want and hope Ohio State makes the
Yeah,
tournament.
I think
Yes.
everybody hopes that.
I-
Well,
They're working
maybe-
hard.
maybe some people on the Politburo don't, or some communes, but I don't know. The Ayatollah, that they probably don't want them. So you know what?
Yeah.
But outside of that,
It'd be
they're
nice to
good.
see us dancing.
Maduro,
I
he
know.
doesn't want them. But all the Buckeyes, they want the
We
Buckeyes
definitely
to
do.
Yeah.
get in there.
All right. So big week for the basketball program, and that covers our one conversation about Ohio State basketball on the live show. Although Birm is coming, and he's fired up for Jake Diebler and that win on Sunday over Purdue as well. So we'll see if he wants to talk about basketball or football when we come right back in here for the second half of the live show at Roosters. It's a fun, casual joint.
The Roosters Foundation helps us be able to give back to the community. It's part of our culture within the company.
They donate to organizations that are near and dear to their heart, and we're so fortunate to have been with Roosters now for a long time.
They always go above and beyond to help support our foundation to further help veterans.
It's just a wonderful feeling to know that Roosters supports the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer.
All the folks at Roosters are just genuinely kind folks, and they want to make a difference.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
Thank you, Roosters.
Thank you, Roosters.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
Welcome back into Roosters. Birm is here. He also looks just rested, relaxed.
I feel fine.
He took a vacation.
Here's the thing.
I want never taking vacation.
I don't want to. Let's talk about Jerry Emig for a second, okay? Because that's more important than us. Sunday morning, everybody on the entire, or Saturday morning, everybody that is a part of the credential media received a personalized email from Jerry saying.
Did you verify that? Everyone?
I mean, I assume. I wouldn't have got one. I mean, you and Jerry have been close for a long time. I've only really got to know him in the last couple of years. I know Mick Walker from Letterman Row got one because I was at an Elite 11 camp in Indianapolis with Mick. And if Mick got one, he's only been credentialed for like a year. I'm sure that most of the people did. So I just think that we are fortunate in this business sometimes to get to know people that don't get a lot of credit. And I actually kind of think it's silly that Ohio State fans know who the SID is in some ways, because like the SID's job should never really be like.
That's actually not the case literally anywhere else.
Right.
that
So
I've
I mean,
ever been.
it's a reminder. You're talking about the reminder of how different time is when you're on a boat and you're realizing kids are growing up. Like Ohio State is different, and in the relationships that people in the media have with folks like Jerry and Mike Bassford and everyone else down the street, like to wake up. I was like emotional reading. I'm like, damn, Jerry, you got me. Like I was not expecting that at all, and I'm surprised he's not here today, to be honest, because I figured he'd just be in here.
Pop on in.
Some
Surprise
Olsons
you.
or
my
Labatt's
my
today.
understanding is as soon as the retirement hit, there was a
Vacation.
3 or 4 week trip planned across to see family,
Gosh.
head down to Florida, play a lot of golf. So that's
Sounds awesome.
Sounds
So,
great.
multiple sources
Good for
telling me
him.
that's
How long was he here? What?
He had 2 stints,
Yeah,
but the last
2
most
tours.
recent one was 16 years. So
Tip of the hat and
fantastic career. He and Birm and I talked.
So
to
he
him
got in just in time for the trust situation.
and for the
The-
volume and temperature to be turned up with Urban
Yeah.
Meyer, and that's not an easy job to have.
Hey, welcome back. We're doing
Here-
our coaches.
Here you go.
Here's the thing. It's just like
As if working at
Wow.
Ohio,
Yeah. Just threw up a bunch of stuff on you.
as if Ohio State is not a demanding enough job on its own. Then here comes Urban Meyer to say that it's 4th and inches every single day, and they certainly had their ups and downs, but Jerry to be able to hold his own and see that tenure to the finish line, and then work with Ryan Day over the last 7 seasons, which that time has gone fast as well. It's a remarkable career, but Birm and I talked to him on the notebook and some of the emotions that he had in November for his senior day, his retirement, where they had a celebration for him upstairs in the Horseshoe. If you haven't seen that, go back and watch that because it's in the moment stuff, and that's why to me it's felt like Saturday is his last
Yeah,
day.
like you thought
But
it was
he's like
already
he's
done?
been. Well, I mean, I knew that he was still
he'd
working.
been
It's
checked
like-
out.
Yeah,
for a while.
he's been checked out.
but like that was it. You still had the playoff run and the Big Ten championship
Yeah.
game after that, but it's like the emotions I think had already been let out. But I guess Birm got
I
a
just think
fresh batch of it.
again, I
There's,
think it's weird that fans in Columbus know who the SID is, again, because that is very, very rare. But I also, and it'll come across as being a homer or kissing Jerry's ass or whatever. But
I thought we were in the era of Homer Birm.
I'm fine with it. I don't mind if people let it be what it is. But Jerry, like his reputation nationally, like there are the way that people around the country who also deal with other SIDs all the time reference Jerry in the reverential tone in which he's discussed, like he's earned the accolades. And I know that people, we've entered an era of insanity in the last couple of years where people are mad at him that Ohio State doesn't have a Heisman winner in the last decade or whatever.
When is a Heisman, Jerry?
Like, gotta tell you, the SID has nothing to do with that.
I don't know. When I came here, Justin, we were on our visit, they talked about
Steve's the snapper
putting out the pancakes for Orlando Pace. And that's
that was innovative at the time.
That's what won him the award.
That's
not the fact that he's the best.
The best football player in the country.
But he didn't win the
history of
Heisman.
Ohio
It didn't
State.
work.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he finished.
It got him there,
finished
though.
third.
It's
And that
almost
was
like
a big deal to have an offensive lineman.
almost like C.J. Stroud would have won the Heisman if they beat Michigan, and I don't. It's
Maybe
Jerry just-
maybe Julian if we would have beat Indiana.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the reality. But
If Jerry would have called better, gotten him ready more.
that is on Jerry. He's a poor game planner. I love everything else about Jerry, but he just can't call plays.
Well,
And
we're
I
gonna
wish
miss
that
him.
he could.
You're
Yeah,
gonna
we
miss
are
him.
going to miss him.
So,
I hope
Except
he
for
does.
those red zone calls.
Yeah.
He can take those with him.
Well, I mean, Arthur Smith, see what he's got. I think that's going to be one of the most fascinating parts of spring ball. Did Julian say anything about Arthur Smith on the boat, Justin?
Not really. I mean, I don't know that we got into that. I was just talking to him about more of the offensive line, and we had some of those guys there, and I got to talk with them a little bit about that. But, it's been so fresh. I imagine. I mean, I know he's had meetings with him or, been in the film room with him, but I imagine that, ratchets up here this
I
week.
challenged Julian to see if he could be more conspiratorial than Aaron Rodgers with Arthur Smith.
I mean, someone has to push the envelope a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that could have been your.
That could have
that
been.
could
I
have
wish
been-
he had.
of all
We should have
people.
tag teamed that because I would have filled his head with all kinds of stuff.
Got Jay-Z's conspiracy corner.
Yeah, I didn't want to mess with him. So,
that's
I don't want him coming
callback.
off that boat thinking like my life just changed.
Man,
I
that's
don't
a
know what's
callback.
going on.
Talking with Arthur, he's like, Aaron pushed back on a lot of different stuff and did some different things, and he goes, then our conversations would usually end up down in the conspiracy corner, and for the last 30 minutes of him talking and asking about some interesting things.
The reality, though, for what's actually happening down the street for the last 4 weeks since Arthur Smith has been hired, is that majority of the players are only working with Mick Marotti and Anthony Schlegel.
Yeah.
So I assume Julian Sain's in a little bit of a different stratosphere. He's getting some actual time in the film room with the coaches. But from what I've understood is that it's been mostly Keenan Bailey and Arthur Smith and the other offensive coaches hanging out and getting to know
I think
each
there's
other.
more of them getting a feel for each other, right? How'd you guys do things? I'm coming in. I want to see, how you guys handle your game days or whatever practices, and then get into play calling and that sort of thing, those ideas. But I imagine, it's been a few weeks for those guys to learn each other because you get out on practice field, next week?
Yep.
You want to have your offensive staff kind of going in the right direction, the same direction.
I'm always trying to look for little things like the haircuts. We talked, obviously, with Peyton, Pierce before when he cut his hair. The Texas Tornado, when he cut his hair before, I was like, dude, what are you doing? Why would you do this to yourself? And then Julian,
it's kind of coming back though.
He's let it.
I think he regretted.
He's getting the
decision.
flow back. He did say he was like, I don't know, I like it, but how did you ask?
I think Julian
about
likes
cutting
his. I didn't ask him how he came about cutting his hair or anything like that.
Do you think, Bob? And I'm going to pose this to you. And
By the way, I saw Arthur's dad, Fred. I believe that was him. On Castaway, I was watching that yesterday, and he comes up to the podium at the end when they find Chuck.
They had the real life.
That was
FedEx,
him.
okay.
I think it said his last name was Smith. So
Okay.
I think, I think dad's name's Fred. I looked it up.
Dad's got a movie credit.
Yeah.
how this is maybe completely out of left field, but I want to get both of your opinions. You as a former quarterback,
sort
and
of
your
the way
brother
the
was
live show
your brother
works.
was an athlete in front of you, and all that stuff. Obviously, you have brothers that were. Is Julian benefited in any way by his brother now being in Columbus, getting ready to play for the Aviators? Do you think there's any comfort? I mean, obviously, your brother's here in town now. Is there any discernible way that impacts him as a Ohio State football player?
What's interesting is they all train in Arlington, Texas. So they come up here to play, but
I noticed I saw Larry Grant's post or about he's helping coach or whatever, and
but I think they're all out of Arlington, Texas. At least that's what Steele told me. They all go down there, have training
They
camp,
have training
and they
camp
stay.
like the entire league, right?
The entire
Yes,
league
okay.
is all down there, and then they fly in for the games. So that's what they do.
So he's not actually in Columbus.
He's not
He's
here,
not
playing here.
But Julian does have some people here in town. I did talk to him about that. I think he may be a sibling doing some grad school or something along those lines.
Nice.
And I
How
feel
many
like he said his
siblings does
mom
he-
was maybe here a little bit too.
How many siblings does he have, Birm?
I don't know. I mean, I
think-
know
I think he
his
has a
brother.
sister
I know
and a
he has a
brother.
sister and a brother. I don't know about.
What
I don't know.
What kind of
I don't know if
recruiting
there's.
expert are you?
He didn't. Ohio State
Well, he
recruited
didn't-
him for 4 minutes in high school.
Yeah.
When the first time that I ever saw Julian Sayin, we were at a 7-on-7 in South
Miami.
Florida, and we were there to watch Jeremiah Smith, get to know Jeremiah Smith, and I was in awe. And I asked Birm, I said, well, who's the best quarterback here? And he said, it was Julian Sayin, but we don't need to talk to him because he's not going to go to Ohio State. And so I didn't watch a single throw from Julian Sayin in that camp because Birm, again, to your point, Bob, recruiting expert, so there's no way.
I still did talk to him that week, and I had an interview with him that week about Ohio State's interest and his. Well, you never know. That was the crux of the story, and then you never knew. But here you go. So you got Julian and his hair on the cruise. You got Carson Hinsman and his hair on the cruise. You've got the Texas Tornado and his hair. Was there anybody there that was like
Austin Saraveld and his hair,
Austin-
Bob? Did we get anything done on that front?
Did you convince him to?
Are we trying to grow that out or something?
I don't think that's
Austin-
growing out.
I don't think
No,
that's
I mean-
growing out. Yeah. Are we just trying to shave? Get the rest of it off.
I think shave.
I had advised him a while ago to just take it
Just
down.
take it down.
Sometimes you just gotta look yourself in the mirror and recognize defeat.
He's getting to Zach Boren 2012
He
era.
had told me that there's some stuff that he was using to help kind of regenerate.
Ooh, there we go.
Some things. I said, all right. I mean, I'm just being honest. Like the stuff that you want to use, like it's much better at retention than it is creation. So if you would have done this probably 4 or 5 years ago, you would have stood a better chance. Now it's you're fighting an uphill battle.
You got to call Brian Urlacher. Find out where.
Yeah, whatever.
What he did.
He's just in Chicago. He's on every
So-
billboard on every.
He's got hair now.
Julian has an older brother, Aiden, that we talked about. 2 older sisters,
Mm-hmm.
Bailey and Jocelyn, both played soccer.
That's a super smart family. They've obviously done a pretty good job with him. But
His brother went to Penn.
yeah,
His brother went to
His
Penn, yeah.
sister played at the University of Chicago. My goodness.
Super smart.
Yeah. He went to Alabama.
Yeah.
Talk about
He's
fun.
on a maybe different level
Nick's-
football wise.
Yeah.
Nick Saban really has a great idea of what that was like too.
for those guys that are coming back off the cruise, that's a lot of the leadership, the core leadership of the team. What is their job between now and next Tuesday when spring practice officially starts?
Assimilation, get the guys ready, get everybody to know each other, like get everyone pointed in the right direction, making sure that the standard is standard.
The standard
She's
is the
gone.
I'm gonna
standard.
tell you-
Stays the same.
Nicole's not in here anymore.
I think the like getting to know everybody thing is kind of it's something that years ago in college football we would have never really
No,
mentioned.
it's
And
really
we talked about
You
this a
knew
few weeks ago.
everybody.
But in the last 2 weeks, all of the different position groups were doing their wide receiver unite or their DB or BIA
that used
night.
to only be like a summer thing.
I know, but now I'm looking at the photos. I'm like, who the hell are these guys?
Yeah.
70% of them, like, I don't recognize that face. I don't recognize that face. I don't recognize that face. And so, like, it is really a pivotal offseason for Ohio State. And so, as we've been kind of picking apart the lack of press availabilities and all that stuff, you start to realize there is a whole lot of newness going on down the street in a season which is shaping up to be fairly critical for, like, not just Ohio State in the Big Ten and as the Big Ten continues to improve, but Ryan Day's legacy, et cetera. So I'm more and more understanding why they've kind of reeled it back and said, hey, we don't need to do a lot other than just getting to know who the heck is in our building.
We can get to know each other, and you guys can find us out,
Right.
figure us out later. And I think this is also, like you said, it's kind of an inflection point. This is the first year where there's been this large portal influx, more so than
and export.
an export. I mean, this is a much different paradigm than Ohio State has been living
Yeah.
under. And so, like, roughly 50 new guys, and they're not coming in like during the summer where you have 2-3 months and you don't have class really, and less class, and you have time.
Ohio State kids don't go to class, remember?
Well, I mean, I understand that, and I appreciate Mylan saying that and different things.
Do you?
I mean, it's fine. But what was buried in that? He's like, it's basically the same. He's
It's
like,
not inaccurate to say that kids don't spend a lot of time in the buildings, but they are definitely going
Seems
to
like
class.
more of an.
But-
I
but
think Notre
that's
Dame
like-
would have a bigger problem with that, like
Right.
an indictment of being behind the times with virtual
You still
learning.
gotta
well,
go
and
to class.
these aren't classes that are just restricted to football players. I mean, everybody can take any class. Like a lot of that stuff's online. So Schleich used to say if they posted the notes online, then the class was online. That was his philosophy.
It's an online class.
Just because he would tell Fick that, and he's like, no, he goes, yeah, dude, I could pull it up. The slide deck's online. Like that's not exactly how it works, but that's I mean Notre Dame's maybe a little different with that. But when I listen to it, it's basically the same. Other than that, and I would say that Marcus Freeman runs a similar program to Ohio State, and they're one of the top programs in college football right now.
But even Marcus has said something about the academics there. I feel like when he took over.
Yeah. I mean,
maybe if that's what you got to go with, that's what you got to go with, right?
You have to try to separate and differentiate the
100%.
programs, and that's fine. Whatever. It's a joke, but whatever.
Yes.
But for those guys with all these new players, like how do you actually? Does it make? Do you want to hit people harder that you don't know or that you do know?
I don't know. I think it's just a function of. I mean, part of it's learning guys' names.
Yeah.
Learning their personalities, how they fit in with your group. I mean, you get a new guy coming into your linebacker room.
Yeah.
You guys are probably going to be a little protective until you get an idea of what this guy is, what he's about, how he carries himself, how he works. I mean, so you're just trying to feel people out, and then you get into the weight room like, all right. He's a worker. And then, all right, now we get to the field, and, he's pretty good, or he can do this or that. Like, you just continue to learn, and each step is, weights, workouts, spring ball. I mean, it just, becomes that you got to learn everybody and who they are and what they're about.
And so usually by the time, like, I feel like I kind of know guys is when they're kind of starting to play at a high level. Like, usually second year, third year, like, is when you've watched guys come in, you see them work. You watch them start to make plays.
You kind of expect them to take that jump the next year.
Yeah, it's like that's when I'm around. Like, okay, by the time I get to know you is usually by the time you're starting to play, just because.
So you're a front runner.
I'm not a front runner. It's just a function of like I'm not learning every freshman's name or like transfer.
Well, nowadays they're going to be gone next year. Anyway.
Well, that's the thing. It just takes.
You have to prove your value.
It takes time. I'm improving value. Like I'm going to talk to the guys I know and like guys that are a little older, maybe a little more mature. It's like when Peyton came in, talked to him a little bit, and you get to like know him, like Peyton and Edric Houston. Like, I feel like. I know those guys fairly well. Like Quay Rousseau, trying to get to know him a little bit. James Smith, who just came in as well, like trying to kind of understand those guys, like Christian Allegro, like trying to get to know him, like just to understand of like you make some jokes, what makes these guys tick, like how they operate, watching them work. And trying to figure out what you're good at, maybe what you're a little deficient at, and how to kind of help that. And that's some of the things like players, you got to figure out what guys are good at, and how much you can trust them, how much they can absorb, and it just takes time to be able to do that.
I do think that's why it's really significant the way Ohio State kept that offensive line together. And we can talk about the last two games. And
well, that unit is that's more critical than anywhere.
If it's which we can all agree, and Jay-Z has said over and over, we've all talked about it, the value of the offensive line, but you don't have any of that sort of transition going on. Yes, you lost Tegra Shabola, but the next three candidates to be the fifth starter have all been in this program for multiple years. When you're talking about Ian Moore, Gabe Van Sickle, and Josh Padilla, plus that trio that were on the boat with you, Justin, and Philip Daniels coming back. Out of that 7 to get to 5.
Philip Daniels loves to go shirtless too, which is awesome.
No, that's great.
He missed out on a great opportunity to do that. But I think that that's hugely significant because you're talking about 3 critical leaders of the team, but the entirety of that group, they did not have to go portal shopping. They did bring somebody in, a veteran, to supplement that group. But, he's not going to start. Like, it's going to come out of that group of 7 that have now been invested in spending multiple years in the Woody.
Magnificent 7?
Yeah, it's
maybe. Super 7.
Speaking of magnificent, what surprised you about the NFL Draft Combine in Ohio State?
What kind of segue is that? Speaking of magnificent.
Well, I mean, there were some magnificent performances from Ohio State athletes at the Indianapolis NFL Draft Combine.
Sonny ran really well. Arvell ran really well.
I feel bad for Sonny because no one really, nationally, everyone had this presupposition that Sonny was like the safe linebacker type next to Arvell, who's like the freaky athlete. I don't think people really nationally had any sense that Sonny actually is a certifiable freak. And then Zoe goes out and runs a 4.28, and you're like, oh, he just
with a bum shoulder.
Right. He just put himself.
I didn't know he was that fast. That's awesome.
He's always been that straight line fast, but the reality is in the NFL, you just got to get on a roster. So if you can run 4.28,
you throw a 4.28 out there, you're going to catch an eye of somebody.
Let's get you on a roster.
And that's Thursday night did the Buckeye show, and it was like the heights and everything just came out for Arvell and Sonny, and like, oh my gosh, everybody was like, just wait until they run. I was like, tomorrow everybody's gonna be talking about how fast they are, and then they went out and did that.
Kudos to them for actually doing it because they definitely didn't have to.
Yeah. And usually the home field advantage, home pro day is going to be faster. So for them to go out there and just put that on, Like I
And
think
now
they might
they're
be
in a
able to
spot where
rest.
maybe they don't have to participate.
Exactly. Yeah, they might be
Hey,
able to
come back,
rest.
do the drills, and
Yeah.
that'll be.
I saw Arbel do one of the drills. I mean, he looked really. I mean, of course, really smooth, and so they're going to button that all up and be fine there. So if that's what they have to do pro day, that's a nice, easy little workout for them.
When there ends up being 4 first-round picks from this past year's team, a team that, again, at this time last
It's
year,
be 5.
5.
There might be 4 in the
There
top
might be
10.
5,
There might be
yeah.
4 in the top 10, which would be a record.
And you got Caleb,
Okay, yeah.
Sonny, Arbel,
So it might be 5 first-round picks.
Darnell.
How dare you
At-
snub Caden McDonald?
No,
At this, that's not him that I was forgetting. I was forgetting Caleb Downs because I'm trying.
Oh,
Because
jeez. Wow. All right.
Okie doke.
I'm just in the interest of transparency. He's the name that didn't fire there for me.
Okay.
So because I don't want to think about him being drafted because I don't want to think about the Bengals not drafting him at 10 and then the
I
Dolphins.
thought you were
He's
going
not-
to say because
he's
he's
not
not a
gonna be
Buckeye
there.
anymore.
Well,
He'll
and
be
in-
there at 10.
And in fairness,
He will not be
when we
there
talk
at
about the transfer portal era of those 5 guys that are prospective first rounders.
He's the one that transferred in.
He's
Right?
the only transfer in.
But last year at this time, coming off a national championship, we had no idea or belief or thought or expectation that the 2025 Buckeyes were going to be a national championship winning team. Like it was like, well, there's a lot of changes. And now looking back after the way the season went,
Are you going to tell me about the nonsense I've been hearing on social media about how did this team squander?
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
All these great
Does it-
athletes.
does
How
it-
did this
does-
happen?
Does it change the way that the 2025
No.
season is
No.
reviewed down the road?
Because a lot of those guys helped win the national title in 24.
Sure.
So, I mean, Arvell didn't play as much. Caden maybe not quite as much. The other 3 guys that are potential first rounders were big participants in that run. So I think that plays into it. Arvell obviously came on really strong this year, and him and Caden, I think, both outplayed even what were kind of fairly lofty expectations for those guys. But especially when 4 of them are on defense. I said, okay, you held Indiana to how many points?
Mhm.
13?
You gave up, what, 9.3 on a year? Like, that's pretty good.
You had a historic defense. Like, you
offensive or defense only gave up 17 against Miami. That's
Yeah.
enough to win.
absolutely. And even the last touchdown, if you're playing that not in that situation, it's probably a field goal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we can argue what that looks like, but those are the 2 teams you lost to, who, by the way, played for a national championship, and that's where you're at. So it wasn't like you lost to Purdue. You know, like you're something like that, where that's why this
I'm just
team
curious
didn't-
from a perspective of Ohio State historian standpoint, right? So I look back in the last 40 or 30 years, go back to 90.
We had 5 first-round draft picks my year, and we didn't win anything.
Right.
So, like, it's, I mean, sometimes it just doesn't
I'm
punch.
saying,
you
I
right.
look
It's
back-
hard to win all the
I look
games,
back
you know?
in the
A lot
last
goes
30
into
plus years, and I'm like, oh man, think about all the different years that could have
Yeah.
been, should have been. Does this one elevate? Does it become does it become higher on the list of with like 2019 and 98 and 96 and 2015? Does it start to elevate into that territory, or is it a
No, because I'll tell you why. Because these guys all had a national championship on their resume already. And I was also told this year
I think
that
that's
if
fair.
you beat Michigan, that's all that
if you
matters.
beat Michigan, make the playoffs, and it's a successful year?
That's all that mattered,
That's why I don't think that the
allegedly.
purely looking at this through hindsight and NFL draft results are going to be fair. And there will be people that do that, and that's fine. But that is ignoring what the actual expectations were for this team. If you think back going into spring ball at this very time a year ago, when Ohio State is sending 14 players to the combine and having 15 players make NFL rosters coming off of the national championship, what were we talking about? Well, this could be that transition year to set up 2026, and you don't know what Julian Sain is.
You got a quarterback competition going on.
The entire defensive line is being replaced. Cody Simon is gone. Is Arvell Reese going to just win a starting job? Like that, like all of these conversations. If we're just going to ignore that, if we had said then, this team is going to be 12-0 at the end of the regular season, they are going to beat Michigan in the Big House. Well,
they will have a historic defense. They will have
seems like it's going to be a pretty
2
good
Heisman
year.
finalists types of
You're
players.
probably taking the under on that if somebody told you that to start the year.
Now, I know that that's how things work, that the expectations are going to be adjusted accordingly to the current situation. But I think when you zoom out, there should be a healthy appreciation for what they did. And that doesn't mean that you shouldn't feel any disappointment that they didn't beat Indiana or Miami. Yeah. But I feel like when we left Indianapolis and Lucas Oil Stadium, Birm, we felt like just Ohio State had let one get away. They beat it. And we didn't say, well, that was the number 1, number 2 team in the country playing a thriller down to the wire. And maybe
you
that's
missed a 28-yard field goal to take it to overtime.
in the 2 drives into the
Inside
the 5-yard line in the second half. Like,
just put that out there.
Inside the 30, inside the building.
Yeah, I think that even in the moment, my perception of that had been skewed by what they had done.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's an interesting conversation because there are so many of those moments for the long-time Buckeye fans that they point to those specific seasons. And I don't know that 25 initially would have been on that list for me, but now I'm like, I wonder if maybe it should be like in the list with the 2019, 2015.
In 2015, we were
98.
All ramped up, ready to go.
Like, everybody back.
Everybody's back.
It was
this is going to be our year.
Yeah, and then they
I
lost to
don't-
Michigan State and got held out of the playoff because Ohio State was held to a different standard than Alabama for some reason at that time, because that Ohio State team would have won the national championship if they were allowed in the playoff. So they weren't allowed in the playoff that year, and so they didn't get a chance to finish it, and they could have been a 13-1 national champion without question. But you know,
You can't lose to Michigan State back then.
it's different than the 98 Michigan State loss, which that team, Ohio State, again, that was only a 2-team BCS game, so you get held out, and Tennessee gets to get gifted a national championship, and Ohio State would have blown their doors off
That's
too.
also a difference between what we're talking about with what could have or should have been. The losses for those teams in 98 and 15 are very different than the 16-0 national champion or the other team that played for it. Like, I think you have to keep that part in mind.
Perspective. Beautiful perspective.
It's
a worthy conversation. We're having fun, casual conversations.
It's not bad, but just the narrative out there. It's like, I can't believe Ryan Day didn't win a national championship with this talent. Like, all right, well, let's go take a look through some of the Alabama teams that didn't win it, where they had all these guys drafted.
For sure.
Georgia's had a lot of guys drafted. Like, sometimes, you know what position group isn't going to have a single player drafted on the Ohio State team this year?
The offensive line.
The offensive line.
Yep.
Because you have, a bunch of those guys
'Cause they're all
returning and
back.
one guy's left. And that was the position group that really one spot there was some struggle and some battle with. And sometimes the teams you play, like, they were able to take advantage of that. And it wasn't like they went out there and got smoked by anybody.
No,
that's the problem. And
It's just perspective. Because, again, people look at Ryan Day's career at this point, and you look at 2019, that's a team that maybe people will look back and say should have won a national championship.
Well, they got absolutely screwed.
22,
they would have beat the brakes off
22
LSU, so.
should have won a national championship, arguably. And, obviously there's
make another field goal.
Extenuating circumstances with everything going on with Michigan, and then all of the injuries in the game against Georgia. And then you have the 24 team or the 23 team where you're like, you lose to Michigan in Ann Arbor. It's your only loss. And you're like, well, we could have won a national championship there. So, but then you also have to put it in the other perspective. Like, Ryan Day's been the head coach at Ohio State for 7 years, and they should have won a national championship 5 times.
They've been in this conversation just about every season.
How do you want to view it?
It's just really hard to win a national
How do
championship.
you want to view it?
It's a long season.
How full is your cup? Is it
runneth
empty?
over?
I mean, I know this. There are 2 guys coaching in college football that have won more national championships than him. That's it. That's the list.
I know that there are free refills at Roosters, which is what really matters. And
Can I just say one more thing?
Yeah, absolutely you can.
If I hear any more nonsense about the pace of play and the comparison of this off to Ryan Day, like in what they did with, you don't take Golden State and you tell Steph Curry not to shoot threes, get out of here. Whoever's watching and peddling that narrative, okay, you want to know something? When you have the best defense in college football, you protect that defense. You don't ask him to go out there and play 15 more plays a game and go ask him to go do things up tempo. Yeah, when you have the 2 best receivers in college football, the more plays you run, the more they have to come off the field. That's just the reality. And so when you're better than someone, you can just lean on them the whole time. You don't need to go out there and try to out sprint them and open yourself up to more opportunities where fluky things can happen. And yeah, you lost to Indiana, you lost to Miami. And Indiana won the national title in the Miami game. You'd have the pick 6, and that probably is the determining factor. And there's a handful of other plays in there that you can look at. But the pace of play, sure, could you have picked it up in those games at points in time? Yeah. And I'm not just sitting there disagreeing with that. But to say the pace of play over the entirety of the season was the reason why this didn't happen is complete nonsense. And I'll take anybody to task with that who thinks that they know about football and what's going on. And I sat there and I had to tell people I wanted to fight somebody last night on X about this because it was ridiculous. I'm like, listen, I played for Bill Belichick, Bill Parcells, Mark D'Antonio, Jim Tressel. I've been around Saban a lot. And I'll tell you, all of those guys and their theories behind this and sitting there talking, they would be in congruency. It doesn't guarantee you a win, but you sitting there telling me that's the way you play Madden where people don't get tired. That's not how it works.
When you are
Slaying off fatigue and injuries.
when you
That's
are
how Birm plays.
when you are better than your opponent, you can do things differently than you would if you weren't. And the reality is, for Ohio State, they can pretty much do what they want. Now, to your point, does it change anything? No. I mean, when you go up tempo, there's the argument. Well, get those guys out of the game earlier than Bob. You're faster, but you also have a day where, like in Wisconsin, or where you can't run it, or the next week in Illinois where you can't throw it. Like you can't play the same game over and over and over. Whatever.
I'm sorry.
Football
That's
is
good.
back
Glad
next
you got-
week. I had a great time in Indianapolis. Mick and I over there, the Elite 11, the opening on Sunday. It's so nice to just be around football again. Spring football.
High school dudes.
Around the high school
Football's
dudes.
back, baby.
It really gets Birm going.
The off season's over.
That's right. Next week, spring football will be well and truly underway. So we will talk about that the day before on Spring Camp Eve, right back here at Roosters, a fun casual joint on the live show. Thanks to Tansky Powersports and Tansky Sawmill as well for their support of the show. Thank you to Nicole Cox, Justin Zwick, Bobby Carpenter, and Jeremy Birmingham. I am Austin Ward. Have a great week, folks. We'll see you next time.